Hey guys, what's up? It is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics here today with another live hanging out with you guys on a Saturday. Thank you guys so much. I always appreciate the people who come and hang out with me on the live. I also appreciate those of you who are going to be watching on the replay. I know we are in the holiday season. You guys are probably rushing out trying to get gifts and do all kinds of things with your family. So again, I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted that you guys have decided to come and spend a little bit of time with me. I am excited to see each and every one of you. And guys, I also hope sincerely that every one of you is having and will continue to have a very safe, happy holiday season, whatever you celebrate during this season. So this live is actually a little bit lighter than some of the other lives that I have done over the past year. In this live, I'm just going to be talking about different products and things, supplies that I personally like and use as a notary signing agent. So some of these are going to be notary public supplies. Some of these are going to be things that you will find helpful as a signing agent. And all of these things are things that I have actually used. So you never know if you've got somebody, a loved one, somebody who's been wanting to get you a gift during this holiday season, you may find something in this list that you enjoy. So we're going to just jump right into it, guys. In this live, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite notary signing agent supplies. But of course, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching on the replay, do me a favor, guys. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. You guys know I go live and I drop videos periodically. So when you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, you will be notified when I'm going to go live and when I've got other videos coming out. And when you hit that like button, that lets YouTube, lets the algorithm know that you like these types of videos. So you will see more of these types of videos, not just from me, but from other influencers who are in the notary loan signing agent space. So again, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching on the replay, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. And as always, guys, I'm always really, really curious about you. So in the chat, again, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay, let me know what city and state you are in. It still boggles my mind that people all over the country come together on these lives to hang out with me. And then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, which means that you have not yet done any loan signings, a new signing agent, which means that you've been doing this thing for a year or less, or if you are a veteran signing agent, meaning that you have been doing this thing for more than a year. So again, tell me your city and state, and then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And yes, guys, of course, the replay of this live will be available literally as soon as we're done. The replay will be available. So I need you guys to be my assistants. If somebody comes in a little bit later and they go, oh my gosh, I missed the first part, will the replay be available? Do me a favor, hook them up, let them know. Absolutely, the replay will be available. Let's see who we've got in here today. We've got Tanya from South Carolina. Good to see you. Shawana is on with us. What's up, Shawana? We've got, is it Aaliyah from Dallas, Texas? I got lots of friends in Dallas. We got a hello from Henry in Sarasota, Florida. We've got Michelle from Denton, Texas. All my Texas people in the house. We've got folks here from San Diego, California. We've got Vina, also from Florida. And we've got people who are aspiring signing agents. Guys, it is still a good time to become a signing agent. Bernice is here from San Diego. Guys, look, keep telling me where you are from. Keep telling me if you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent, because of course, guys, like I said, I am sincerely excited to see each and every one of you guys here today. Now, there is going to be a Q&A session at the end of this video. And now normally I tell you guys to hold your questions until the end of the session. But again, this is a little bit of a different Q&A. So actually today, guys, if you have questions, even as I'm going through some of the different products and things that I like, if you have questions, feel free to go ahead, put them in the chat. I'm gonna be keeping my eye on the chat, and I'm gonna try to answer your questions, guys, even as I'm going through the different products. And again, normally I try to stay on task and I try to only answer questions about the subject of the video. But guys, today is kind of an open Q&A session. So any signing agent questions that you may have, feel free to ask them in the chat. And as always, if for some reason I miss your question or if I am not able to address it during the video, that's okay. Still put your question down there, guys. I try to go back and answer any questions that I may have missed. We got some other folks here. We've got Christine here. She is from Pennsylvania, been a signing agent for 2 years. It's been a good 2 years, hasn't it? We've got Joe, a friend of mine in Austin, Texas. Good to see you. We've got folks here from North Carolina, Cleveland, Ohio, folks who've been doing this for a year. We got folks here from Vegas. Oh my goodness, guys. Again, it blows my mind to see all of the folks who are here. Look, we already got a question. So again, since this is a different type of live, I'm going to go ahead and answer this question. So Cherokee wants to know, is it okay to highlight the areas needing signing with a yellow highlighter? And the answer to that question is no. You should never use highlighters on any of the documents. You should not put X's anywhere that that the signer needs to sign. Us as the signing agents, us as the notaries, we should not be doing anything like that that will permanently affect the documents. We should not be using highlighters. We should not be making X's. If you want to point out where the signer needs to sign, you can use sign here stickies, but do not use highlighters, do not use X's. Now, if you receive the documents from a company, because some companies will overnight documents, if they have done it, that's their business. That's their documents. It's okay for them to do it if they choose to, but we as the signing agents absolutely should not use highlighter. That's a good question because that is something that comes up quite a bit. Now, guys, the other thing I want to tell you, I'm going to be showing you lots of different products and I'm going to be referring to different videos and things like that that I have done. And all of the links to the things that I'm going to be talking about are down in the description box of the video. But sometimes people go, well, where the heck is the description box? So if you are viewing this on like your laptop computer, underneath the video, you're going to see a little bit of description and then you're going to see the words see more. You'll want to click on the words see more to see all of the description box. Now, if you're watching this on your cell phone or your mobile device, because that's what a lot of us do now, you are going to actually see a little down arrow next to the title of this video. You're going to want to click on that down arrow. That is what opens up the description box. That when the description box is open, you are going to see all kinds of stuff from me in that description box, all kinds of links. And again, specifically for this video, you're going to see all of the links to all of the different products that I am talking about. And one of the things that I always want to remind you guys about is I do have a free new signing agent checklist for anyone who wants it. One of the things that new and aspiring signing agents always want to know is, have I done everything I need to do to get started as a signing agent? Well, that free new signing agent checklist gives you a checklist to follow. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond of the different things that you need to do and purchase to become a signing agent. So the link to get that free checklist is down in the description box. So if you need it, absolutely click on it and download it. All right, let's see what else we've got here. I saw another question. What is the best signing sites to go on for signing? So this is actually probably going to be a longer answer than what you are expecting. Yes, there are signing companies and signing services out there that can give you business. But the reality is, to really be a successful signing agent in the long run, you are going to want to market for direct business. That takes a little more time and effort. It's a little more difficult, but you tend to get higher paying business. And you also tend to work with clients who are more faithful to you. You won't have to rush to your phone to try to answer notifications real quick before anyone else. But a few signing sites, SnapDocs is probably the biggest one out there right now. Other than that, it really tends to be kind of regional. A lot of signing services are nationwide, but some people have better success with one signing service than another signing service. So what I tell people is sign up for as many signing services as you can that don't charge. Signing services or databases that do not charge you to sign up. Sign up for as many of them as you can, because again, there's no one signing service that works best for everyone. If you talk to 10 different signing agents, they may each tell you 10 different companies that work best for them. So make sure that you sign up for as many signing services as possible so that you can find the signing service that is going to send you business. But probably the biggest and the easiest is going to be SnapDocs. And then also when you become an NNA signing agent, certified signing agent, you also get on their database as well. There's BankServe, there's tons and tons of different signing services out there. So sign up for as many of them as you can so you can find the folks who are going to send you business. All right. So now, guys, one of the things that I do want to tell you, that I do want to remind you as I'm going to be talking about the different products and things that I like is, first of all, you honestly do not need a lot of stuff to become a signing agent and to become a successful signing agent. So a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are not things that you have to have. There are things that maybe I've gotten over the years or that I found, oh, it's kind of good to have this or kind of cool to have this. But just realize you don't have to have all of the different things that I am showing in this video. The other thing, guys, is these are things that I like. These are products that I have personally used or supplies that I have personally used. That's not necessarily saying even that they are the best, but they are what I like. So as I'm going through this, if you guys have products or supplies or suggestions of things that you want to share with the other folks, maybe some things that you use that you find helpful, go ahead and put that in the chat. As I'm talking about specific products and you say, you know what, I like this product better, go ahead and put that down in the chat as well. But again, guys, you don't need a lot of stuff to be a signing agent. I'm going to tell you the things you absolutely have to have. And then the rest of these things, it's just kind of a, you know what, these are kind of cool to have. All right. So obviously, as a notary loan signing agent, the biggest thing that you have to have is notary supplies. Now, in general, there's not a whole lot of notary supplies that you need. The first thing, obviously, guys, that you are going to need, though, when you become a commissioned notary public is your notary stamp. Now, most people tend to use that plastic Trodat stamp that you see over at the, I don't know, let's see, the left. I don't know my right from left, that you see over on the side, and it comes in multiple colors. And I'm just like you guys. I have used that type of a stamp for many, many years. Now, one of the things that I think is cool and that you probably noticed is the stamps come in a lot of different colors. When I first became a notary, when I first became a notary public, I got like just the black one or the gray one. It was just kind of a, you know, businessy color. But as the years went on, I was like, why not get some in a fun color? Because they do tend to come in really fun colors. So currently, the one I have now is pink. I think I've had the purple one before. I think I've had the red one before. So don't feel like you have to have black or gray. You can actually get a really fun color for your notary stamp. And the thing that I like about that is when you have one that's a fun color, it's a lot easier to find in your notary bag. And it's a little bit harder to leave somewhere because believe it or not, I have accidentally left my notary stamp at signings before. But when you have it in a fun color, it tends to be more difficult to forget it, more difficult to lose it. Now, most people use this stamp. This stamp works just fine. It's great. But one of the things that I did recently, because I always, guys, have two stamps. I always have the one that I use on a daily basis, and then I keep a backup stamp just in case my main stamp gets broken or lost or whatever. That way I don't have to wait for a new one to come. So I keep two stamps. So recently, I also purchased this heavy duty notary stamp. Now, this is now my main stamp, and this, the plastic one, is my backup stamp because I've actually broken some of these before in the past. So I tried the heavy duty one. I like the heavy duty one now, and I keep the little plastic one just as my backup. But for any of you guys that are thinking about maybe getting a heavy duty stamp, just realize that this is bigger. You can tell it's a lot bigger in size in comparison to the plastic one. And the other thing is the stamp impression on the heavy duty stamp is a little bit bigger. So sometimes it may be difficult to find a place to put your notary stamp using this. But this is my new everyday stamp. And I'm actually going to go back one page because that's the other question people always have is, okay, well, where do I need to get my stamp from? There are a lot of different places where you can get your notary stamp from. I personally either use the National Notary Association or the American Association of Notaries. And actually, I generally use the American Association of Notaries for my notary stamp every year. There are other places that you can purchase them, but those are the two main places that I personally purchase my notary stamp from. And then we had a question down here from Pamela. Do you need to get an embosser too? In general, for notary loan signing agent work, you do not need an embosser. I've been a notary since 2005 or so, 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. I have never purchased an embosser. I've never used an embosser. They look really cool. In general, here in Texas, they're only used for kind of fancy documents just to make things look good. But double check your state notary law. I know that here in Texas, they were kind of bouncing around the idea of documents that needed to be recorded with the county, like deeds, having an embossed notary stamp, but that never came to be. So just double check your state notary law. But to my knowledge, I don't think any of the states require that you have an embosser. So for the most part, all you're going to need is just your regular notary stamp. All right. And then let's see. Ms. Vina had a question. What is an embosser? So an embosser, it actually, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. It smushes the paper, and then instead of your stamp just being a flat on the page, it makes your notary stamp raised. It's textured. You can feel it, that kind of thing. So it makes a raised impression on the document. It embosses your seal into the document. So that's what an embosser is. So if you've seen, like, again, fancy documents like birth certificates might have them, some of the older ones, that kind of thing, then you've probably seen something that had a raised seal on it, an embossed seal. Embossers used to be what notaries public would use, but over the years, it's shifted to just stamps. And now, like I said, for the most part, embossers are only used on kind of fancy documents. So in general, like I said, I've never used one. To my knowledge, you don't need an embosser in any state to be a notary public signing agent. Awesome. Let's see. Yep. See, Joe's got one, but he's debated just leaving it at home because you never need it. You never need an embosser pretty much as a signing agent. And then Carolina had a question. I recently had a photo badge made to hang over my clothing. What is your take on this? You don't need it, but if you want it, absolutely go for it. That's actually one of the things I'm going to talk about later. You do not need a signing agent badge. You do not need a signing agent ID. They look cool. They're cute. If it makes you feel awesome to have it, go for it. I mean, it's not an official ID of any sort. It's basically just a fancy business card that you got hanging on a lanyard. So if you want it, if it's something that you want to do, absolutely go for it. But you do not need one. All right, good questions so far, guys. I knew y'all were going to have good questions. All right. So then the next supply you're going to need as a notary public is a notary journal. Now, there are notary journals that have been made more specific for loan signing agents. As a loan signing agent, there's going to be documents that you're going to notarize over and over again that have long titles on them. You know, we've got the deed of trust, we've got warranty deeds, we've got occupancy affidavits, we've got mineral rights acknowledgments, we've got signature name affidavits, all these different documents that we see over and over again. And so to save time as a signing agent, instead of having to write the titles of these, long titles out over and over again, notary journals have been created that already have the titles to those documents on them. It saves you time, it saves your hand, because basically all you have to do is check off that particular item, check off whether it is an acknowledgement or a jurat, and you are good to go. And there are tons of different notary journals for loan signing agents out there. Now, one that I have used for a long time that works just fine is the Modern Journal of Notarial Events. I've used it for a long time. It works great, but there are lots of other journals out there. I do have a link to that Modern Journal of Notarial Events down in the description box. Another one that is great is the Notary Journal for Loan Signing Agents. And I actually know the young lady who created this journal. She actually lives here in San Antonio. She did a fabulous job on this journal. And this is actually going to be the next journal that I use once I finish using up all of the spaces in my Modern Journal of Notarial Events. I'm going to use her Notary Journal for Loan Signing Agents. But again, guys, it has all of the names, or not all, but it has the names of most of the documents that we see over and over again as loan signing agents. And it makes it easy for you to just check those documents off. So definitely check that journal out. I've got a link for it down in the description box. And then I saw somebody else say that they love the Integrity Notary Journal. Boom, that was also on my list. Another great journal for loan signing agents is the Integrity Notary Journal. So again, guys, this is something that has been created with loan signing agents in mind. It has all of the major documents that we see in loan signings listed in it to make your life easier as a loan signing agent. Now, one thing that I do want to remind people, regardless of the journal that you use, whether it is one of these loan signing agent journals, whether you just use a regular notary public journal, you only need one journal, okay? You do not keep a separate journal for loan signings and a separate journal for regular, just general notary work. You want to keep one journal, and you're still going to log all of your notarizations in chronological order in whatever journal that you use. You can use a loan signing agent journal to list a general notarization. So again, guys, this is really important because this is a question that I hear from people all the time. You do not want to have two journals. You're going to have just one journal at a time. Every notarization that you do, you're going to keep it in chronological order in that particular journal. Another thing, guys, that I want to remind everyone of, make sure you double check your state notary law when you are using a journal to make sure that that journal works for your state notary law. Every state is different. Every state has different requirements as to what you keep in your journal, what you can or cannot put in your journal, what's required to be a journal, if you even need to have a journal. So, for example, in the state of Texas, we are required to keep a journal, but we're not required to get signers' signatures in our journal. So, if I ask someone to sign my notary journal and they refuse, I cannot refuse the notarization because it is not required by law for me to make them sign my notary journal. And the next thing, this actually goes into this question that this person asked: is it necessary to always get a fingerprint in your journal, or does it depend on your state? It absolutely depends on your state, guys. So again, as a notary public, you need to make sure that you know your state's notary law. There are some states that require fingerprints. There are some states that prohibit fingerprints. There are some states that are kind of in the middle where they're like, you can get it if you want, but you got to follow XYZ rules. And again, Texas is one of those states. We can technically get a fingerprint, but Texas's notary law says that we can only keep biometric information like fingerprints for a certain period of time. So it is actually recommended in Texas that we do not get fingerprints because of it. So again, guys, you need to know your state notary law. Just because you get a journal that has a fingerprint space in it does not mean that you have to get a fingerprint, okay? So make sure that you know your state's notary law. And then another question that came up: can you become a loan signing agent in two different states? So the answer to that question is, can you be a notary public in two different states? There are a few states that allow people under certain circumstances to be a notary public in multiple states. It's usually if you're close by two states, that kind of thing, and there's other requirements that have to be met. But in general, for the majority of people, no, you cannot be a signing agent in two different states, because for the majority of people, you can only be a notary public in one state. And so again, to use myself as an example, I am a Texas notary public. I can only notarize documents while I am in the state of Texas. So if I have my notary stamp and I go visit my family in Florida, I can't notarize anything because I am not a Florida notary public. I am only authorized to do notarizations in the state of Texas. So for the majority of people, no, you cannot be a loan signing agent in two different states, because for the majority of people, you cannot be a notary public in two different states. Great question, though. I like it. Good question. Good question. All right. So keeping on with the supplies, the next thing that you are going to want to get, you do not have to get this. Notary journal you need to have as long as notary journals are required in your state. Notary stamp you need to have as long as notary stamps are required in your state. But the next thing that is absolutely good to have is a notary law handbook or a notary law primer. This is one from a few years ago. The National Notary Association is actually where I recommend getting your notary law primer or your notary law handbook from. This one is from the National Notary Association as well. But absolutely, guys, I do recommend getting a notary law primer for your state. It's just like a little cheat book. It has the answers to what you can or cannot do. So if you have a question about, can I get a fingerprint or should I get a fingerprint? Check your notary primer. Am I required to get signatures in my notary journal? Check your notary primer. What type of ID is acceptable? Again, guys, every state has different requirements for identification and what makes up identification. You cannot assume that any particular ID is acceptable in your state. you need to look at your state notary law to see what ID is acceptable. So again, I'm gonna use Texas as an example because I'm a Texas notary public. For Texas, the ID has to be current. It has to have a photograph, it has to have a signature, and it has to be issued by the government. So if somebody has a government issued ID that is current and it has a photo, but it does not have a signature, that is not acceptable ID. So again, guys, you want to make sure that you know your state notary law, and these notary primers are a very easy way to look up the law for your state. These also really come in handy, guys, in case you ever have to refuse a notarization. So let's say somebody does not have acceptable ID, or for whatever reason, they don't meet whatever requirements your state notary law says. You can literally pull your notary law primer out and point to them and say, see, I would love to do your notarization, but right here is where it says that what you're asking me to do is against the notary law in my state. So while you do not have to have one of these, this is not a must have. This is a good to have. And I would absolutely suggest investing in one of these for your notary business. And again, I get mine from the National Notary Association. Now, I don't know if they have one for every state, but if they don't, they do have the US Notary Primer, which I believe has general notary information for all states. But if they have one specifically for your state, make sure that you get the one that is specific for your state. All right. So next thing you're going to need as a signing agent is a printer. And people always ask, well, Kendra, what printer do you like? What printer do you use? This kind of thing. So I'm going to first tell you guys to watch my video on printers, because there are certain things that you need to have. There's certain things that you do not have to have, like you do not need a color printer. I've been a signing agent for over 15 years. I've never been asked to print anything in color. So you do not need a color printer. And in general, any brand that matches the requirements that I'm going to tell you about, or that I tell you about in that video, is going to work perfectly fine. But I always get people who want to know, well, Kendra, what is it that you use? So I am personally a fan of HP printers. I have used Brother printers. I even had a Canon printer, but I like the HP printers. And part of it is I used to work in the mortgage industry for a long time. The HP printers are what we used in the mortgage industry. And then, after years of using a particular product, you just kind of, you grow accustomed to it. You like it. The other thing that I like about HP printers, or at least most of the HP printers that I have worked with, when it comes to your toner and your drum, they're all one piece. So when you replace your toner, you're also replacing your drum. The thing I found with a lot of Brother printers is that the toner and the drum are two separate pieces. And I swear, it seems like one of them always needs replacing. Either the toner needs replacing or the drum. I'm always getting something, that needs to be replaced. So I personally prefer HP laser printers. Now, the printer that you guys see on the screen looks very similar to the actual printer that I use and that I have been using for many, many years. The printer I use, they don't even make it anymore. It's too old. The printer that I use, I'm looking at it. It's yellow. It's turned yellow in color because I have had it for so long. And that's another reason why I love my HP printer. This thing is a workhorse. I think I've had this printer for at least 7 or so years. And I bought it used. So it was already a used printer when I got it. And this sucker has just printed documents out for me for a gazillion years. So it doesn't matter though, guys. Like if you look at HP printers now, they're going to look fancier because again, this is an older looking printer. It looks like the one that I actually have. But just in general, I am an HP laser printer fan. I love my HPs. But If you just want to know what do I need to have in a printer, watch my best printers for signing agents videos. It'll tell you the things to look for so that when you go shopping for a printer, you can buy the best printer for you. And then there was a question going back to the Notary primers. Does the Notary primer update every year? So I do believe that the NNA does come out with a new one every year. But whether or not the information in it changes depends on your state and whether or not the notary law in your state has changed. So you don't necessarily have to buy a new one every year. As you can see, this one is actually a few years old. This was the 19th edition. I don't even know what edition they're on now. Let me see what year. It might be time for me to get another one. When was it? I can't see right off when this one was done. 2020. So this one's a couple of years old. So you do not necessarily have to get a new one every year. The NNA puts a new one out, I believe, every year, but whether or not the information in it has changed or not depends totally on your state. And it's always a good idea, guys, for you to be able to find the Notary Public website for your state. That's usually the Secretary of State or the Department of State for your state. It's always a good idea to know where that website is, know how to navigate that website so that you can see directly from your state whether or not any changes or updates have been made. That's a great question, though. Let's see. Shawana says she has the HP LaserJet Pro. Yep, mine is a LaserJet Pro. It's just an old LaserJet Pro. But it's been taking a licking and keeps on ticking. I love that printer. Awesome. So guys, the next thing that's good to have as a signing agent is a scanner. Now, again, you got lots of options on scanners. There's mobile scanners, there's desktop scanners, there's all kinds of price ranges from $99 on up. There's tons of options when it comes to printers. However, probably the favorite, scanner. Probably my favorite scanner that I have used thus far has been the Raven scanner. And I did a review of the Raven Scanner Pro. Make sure you check out that video. This scanner is awesome, guys. It is very easy to set up. It's very easy to use, very, very user-friendly, and it takes great scans. It is technically a desktop scanner. It is meant to sit on your desktop. However, it is small enough to take out with you mobily if you need to do so. But check out that video about the Raven Scanner Pro. It's an awesome, very, very easy to use, very easy to set up scanner. Now, I will say the Raven Scanner Pro is a little bit more pricey. That's probably, I think, around $500 to $600 for this scanner. Now, if that's not in your budget, check out my The Best Scanner for Signing Agents video. I talked to you about other mobile scanners. And again, we're looking at, price range of around $150 to like $300 or $400. And this way, again, you can determine what you need in a scanner and what is going to be the best scanner for you. But if you just want an awesome, easy to use scanner, the Raven Scanner Pro is amazing. Definitely check out that video. All right. So then you're a mobile notary. You're a mobile notary loan signing agent. You are running all over the place getting documents signed. So what are you going to put all this stuff in? I personally like a rolling laptop bag. Now, again, you can use any bag that you like that will work to hold all of your notary supplies. Because again, you're going to have your notary journal, you're going to have your stamp, you might carry your laptop with you, you're going to have the loan documents with you. I initially started off with just like a carrier bag, like, the one that you put over your shoulder. But that sucker started getting heavy. And I personally decided to switch over to a rolling laptop bag. So that way I'm able to carry more stuff in it and I don't get that stress on my shoulders. But I do know people who use courier bags, the bags that kind of, go across your chest. I know people who use backpacks. Again, it really doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you. But if you ask me what I use, I like a rolling laptop bag. And the rolling laptop bag that I currently have also has the little battery backup charger for my cell phone, which is a lifesaver. I love it. It makes life so much easier because, guys, we're always on our phones, and the last thing you want is for your cell phone to die. So I suggest getting a rolling laptop bag. I also did a video a while back, guys, about all of the different things that I carry in my bag. I carry a lot of stuff in my bag. I've been in different situations, different things have come up, and I've kind of found some stuff that's like, you don't have to have it, but it's really cool to have it. It's good to have it. It's helpful to have it when you need it. So I'm not going to go through all of those things in this video. But if you want to know about all the little things that I carry in my notary bag, make sure that you check out that video. The link is in the description box. But one thing I carry in my bag that I do want to point out to you guys, I carry a flashlight stun gun. Now, this is another question that I get from a lot of people who are thinking about becoming signing agents. They are concerned about safety. And I'm going to say this. First of all, being a signing agent is very, very safe. I don't even know at this point how many tens of thousands of signings that I have done over the past 15 years. And I can count on just a couple fingers the times where I just didn't, necessarily feel 100% good about a situation. Again, not bad situations, nothing bad happened to me. It was just like a little, I don't want to be here. The thing that you have to realize or remember, guys, is you do not have to go anywhere where you don't feel safe. So even if you accept an assignment, and this actually happened to me once, I accepted an assignment, I drove to the location, and I did not feel safe at the location. You know what I did? I left. No signing is worth your safety. And again, this does not happen often. I'm not even saying that anything would have happened at that signing. I just did not feel safe in that particular location. So I left. And then people, of course, then ask, well, is the signing service going to be mad? Blah, blah, blah. You know what? They might be. But here's my thing. I don't care. My safety is paramount. I don't care if a company gets upset with me because I leave somewhere where I don't feel safe. And I'm going to also say this, any reputable company is not going to be upset with you for leaving somewhere where you don't feel safe. So just remember that first and foremost, you don't have to go anywhere that you don't feel safe, and you don't have to stay anywhere where you don't feel safe. But again, guys, that's a very, very 0.001% of the time where you may even feel that way. But again, if you want to carry something for a little bit of extra protection, I personally like this flashlight stun gun. Now, it's an actual flashlight. So this has come in handy just legit as a flashlight, but it is also a stun gun. And the thing that I like about it being a flashlight is, in the off chance that you do need to use it, the person isn't going to know that it's a stun gun, right? Because it just looks like a flashlight. And again, if you watch my notary bag video, I think I hit it, and you guys get to see it has a nice little zap to it. But and I think it's only like $15, guys. So it's something good to have because, again, you just never know. As Miss Bernice just said, safety first. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And I just like having it with me just for that little bit of extra protection. But again, I've actually never needed it. So cool. Another awesome thing is a dash cam. And again, guys, I've actually this product and the next few products that I'm gonna be talking about, I talk about in my video where I go over what is in my car as a notary signing agent. So I actually have a dash cam. One of the things that we're going to be doing as mobile notaries and as loan signing agents is we're going to be driving all over the place. And just by the nature of doing more driving, that is going to make us a little bit more apt to the possibility of getting into an accident. And so you want to have that dash cam just in case something does happen to prove who was at fault in an accident. Depending on the dash cam that you get, there's also dash cams that will wake up if they feel motion on your car. So maybe your car is sitting out somewhere and somebody bumps into it or tries to break into your car. Depending on the dash cam that you get, you may also get video evidence of what happened in that situation. So one that I like is like the one that I have on the screen. It actually clips over my rear view mirror, and it kind of replaces my rear view mirror. So it doesn't look like an obvious dash cam. So I kind of like that. It doesn't look very obvious, but it is a dash cam and it does keep recordings as I'm driving to and from all of my appointments. And it has actually come in handy. I was in a minor accident, I don't know, maybe about 5 years ago or so. Somebody hit me and I had the video evidence from my dash cam to prove that they were at fault and not me. And so it really made the whole process with the insurance companies a whole lot easier. I'm gonna go back. Carolina said, talking about safety, that some of her comfort comes in knowing that if I never get their paperwork to their companies, their deal hasn't been finished. Exactly. And guys, this is another reason why, as a signing agent, you're going somewhere for the most part that is going to be safe. These people ain't worried about you. They worried about getting their loan. Nobody goes through an entire mortgage process just so they can be mean to you at the loan signing. They're going through the mortgage process to try to get their mortgage. So even though these may be people that we have not met before face to face, they're not quite strangers. Their lender knows everything about them, and all they really want is for their loan to be completed. So again, guys, for any of you who are new or aspiring signing agents who were worried about safety in general, guys, you have nothing to worry about. Being a loan signing agent is very safe. Another question here. How do you track your mileage going to an assignment? That is a great question. So you can use there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. You can literally just make an Excel sheet and keep, record of where you went and how many miles that you drove. You can use things like Notary Gadget, accounting software that will also keep track of your mileage, because as a signing agent, you do want to keep track of your mileage, depending on how you do your taxes, because you can get a tax break from that. I personally use QuickBooks, and QuickBooks has an app that I download on my phone. And anytime I'm about to drive to an assignment, I basically just click a button that says, hey, I'm driving for work. It shows where I'm going, keeps a record of where I'm going, has all of my mileage listed, and then I just give that to my accountant at the end of the year. So what I personally do, I use QuickBooks. But again, you can use Notary Gadget. There's probably tons of other apps out there, guys, just in your app store. If you put in mileage tracker, I bet you there's tons of other apps out there that can keep track of this for you. And again, when I first started, I was old school. I literally just had an Excel sheet and I would just keep track of my mileage on the Excel sheet. So figure out which way works best for you. Notary Gadget, though, is a great way to do it for signing agents. And I've actually got a link to Notary Gadget down in the description box. Let's see. Yep. Wanda said there's apps on your phone for tracking your mileage. Absolutely. And then Robin said Everlance is a good phone app to track mileage. So there you go. You got several suggestions now that you can use to track your mileage. But yes, you absolutely do want to track your mileage. Thank you guys for that. All right, another that I use in my car is a steering wheel desk. Again, guys, you're going to be out in your car a lot. So these little hook-on steering wheel desks are awesome. If you're eating in your car, you've got somewhere to kind of put your food so it's not sitting on your lap. And it also flips over and has more of a flat side. So if you need to write anything, you need a writing desk, you've got that there. So I love keeping that in my car. It always comes in handy. The other thing that I love is my reverse folding umbrella. One of the things I used to hate just in general, not even just about being a signing agent, but in general, is when you have an umbrella and you're trying to get in and out of a car, you're sitting in your car, but then you almost dump tons of water on yourself trying to fold your umbrella as you're getting in the car. But this reverse folding umbrella, one button, it retracts and it folds the opposite way. So it kind of traps the water versus all of the water getting poured on you. So I love it. Check it out. It is one of my favorite items to keep in my car. Another couple of things that are good to keep in your car, guys. And look, I'm kind of a DIY kind of person. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. People are always kind of shocked, like, Kendra, you do this kind of stuff? I sure do. I keep an air compressor and a jump starter in my car. I have had some times where I've had some low tire pressure, and I needed to get a little air in my tire to get me to wherever I was going. I've had times when in older vehicles where my battery died and I needed a jump. And instead of having to ask someone for a jump, I just use my jump starter. Now, I do also have AAA. I do also have roadside assistance on my insurance. I use those as well. But if any of you guys have ever had to use AAA or use your roadside assistance, you got to sit and wait for them to come. And sometimes I was like, I ain't got time for that. I got somewhere I need to be, or I was somewhere that I didn't want to be for a long period of time. So I have a little air compressor and I have a little jump starter in my car that I can use if I need them. They are awesome products to keep in your car. Other things, guys, that you may want to have is custom marketing materials. Now, look, again, you don't have to have these things, all right? Again, these are not must-haves. These are things that are cool to have, but you can do t-shirts, you can do ink pens. People love to do ink pens with their marketing info on them. You could do bags, you can do magnets for the side of your car, you can do water bottles, mugs, all kinds of stuff where you can either put your logo, your phone number, you could just make up a cool design or a cool slogan for signing agents and for your business. This is one of the fun things, that we just get to do as business owners, is to create custom marketing materials for our business. There's several different websites that you can use, guys. One of my oldies but goodies that I have used forever is Vistaprint. I've made everything on Vistaprint, from business cards to t-shirts, car magnets, ink pens, all kinds of good stuff. And the thing I like about most of these websites is they've got some graphics and stuff kind of already set up. So you can just switch out information, use a design that they've already created, and use it to put your own custom information in. Another great website that you can use is Zazzle. So when we were talking about that name badge earlier, I know a lot of people like to make their name badges on Zazzle. Again, you don't have to have a name badge, but if you want to have a name badge, Zazzle is a site that a lot of people use to make those. And then you might say, well, you know what? I want something that's a little more creative than the designs that are already on Vistaprint or on Zazzle. I want something that is more custom to my business, but I'm not a graphic designer. Well, one of the websites that I like to use to contract people to help me design things is Fiverr. Fiverr is basically kind of a work board where graphic designers and people in a lot of different industries go to show off their work. And then they say, hey, you can hire me to design something for you. And it's actually called Fiverr because a lot of the times back in the day, especially, a lot of the people were only charging about $5 to do whatever it is that you were wanting them to do. So on Fiverr, you can find graphic designers, people to help you design different things for your marketing materials. Again, the price is going to range depending on that person and their experience and how much they're charging. But if you want someone to help you create something more custom for your business, Fiverr is one of my favorite places to go. So guys, look, that was my favorite products and supplies that I like to use as a signing agent. Now, again, those are not all of the products that you can use. These are just some of my favorite products. And if you guys have any products or supplies that you like to use, again, put them down in the chat box to share with others. But we've reached the Q&A session, guys. So if you have any questions about being a signing agent, you guys have been asking good questions throughout the live. But if any of you guys have any types of questions about being a signing agent, I am here to answer questions for you guys today. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to also scroll back up to see if I missed any questions. I think I kind of hit them all as we were going through. And if you guys don't have any questions, let me know. Any of those products and supplies that I listed during this video, are any of those things interesting to you? Did any of those things you're like, wow, I hadn't thought about that, or I didn't know about that? That's kind of cool. I might add that to my Christmas list. Let me know about that as well. But again, guys, as a signing agent, we don't need tons and tons of stuff, which is one of the things that I loved about getting started as a signing agent is you didn't have to go out and buy a gazillion different products to get rolling as a signing agent. Scrolling through these questions, I think I did a pretty good job. Okay, let's see. Somebody asked a question up here that I missed. Would a CCW LTC work as a form of acceptable ID? I'm gonna have to Google it to see what a CCW LTC is. But again, it's going to depend on your state. So again, for Texas, if it's a federal or government issued photo ID that is current with a signature, then yes, a CCW LTC would work. Is it acceptable in your state? I don't know. What does your state notary law say is required for ID? So again, other states, so Texas says that the ID has to be current. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is Texas says it has to be current, but it doesn't say unexpired. I personally believe that current equals unexpired, but it says current and it does not say unexpired. Other states may allow you to use an ID that has been expired for a certain period of time. Other states may allow you to use an ID that doesn't have a signature. So the answer to the question, again, as to whether those items would work as forms of acceptable ID, totally depends on your state and what your state notary requirements are for ID. Awesome. So again, what are the best platforms? You don't know how to land gigs. So let's talk about this again, guys. So here's the thing. I know everybody likes to think I become a signing agent. I just sign up with people and people send me business. You can get some business that way, guys. But being a signing agent is changing, okay? It is becoming more difficult to get work that way. And the best way to get work is to market for direct business. There is a lot of competition when you just sign up with signing service. There is no magic signing service that you can sign up with and you all of a sudden get tons of business. Again, one of the biggest platforms is going to be SnapDocs. Again, you can sign up for databases. I personally like Notary Cafe. I've been on Notary Cafe for years. American Notary USA is another good one. Notary Rotary is another good one. And then again, there's hundreds, if not thousands of other signing services out there. The best platform is going to be the one that sends you business. There may be a platform or a signing service that I get tons of business from here in San Antonio, Texas. You may sign up with that same company and not get anything. And it could be for various reasons. It could be because they don't have a lot of business in your area. It could be that there are already a lot of other signing agents in your area that they're sending business to. So there is no one platform. There's no one database. There's no one signing service that everybody can sign up with and get tons of business. This is a business. This is where the rubber meets the road. You got to figure out what is going to work best for you. So I always tell people, sign up for as many signing services, as many databases as you can that do not charge you a fee. And then most importantly, you have to market for direct business. Is marketing for direct business hard? It's not, but it takes time. It takes effort. You're going to hear no, and you're going to have to be able to work through those no's and keep going until you get a yes. Because here's the thing, you could get 100 no's and then get 2 yeses. And those 2 yeses can be the people that send you business that you work off of for years. The majority of my business, 90% of my business, comes from 2 direct business clients. I've heard tons of no's, but those 2 people gave me yeses. And the majority of my business comes from those 2 people. So I highly encourage everyone to market for direct business. Would I recommend Mark Will's loan signing system to become a signing agent? So here's the thing. I recommend my signing agent training to become a signing agent. I don't know Mark Will's training. I didn't take his training. I have my own training program. I know my training program. I know what's in it. I tell people, do your research, find the trainer and the training that works for you. But realize, just because you take training, I don't care whose training it is, just because you take training is no guarantee that you are going to get business. This is a business. This is your business. You have to put in the work and the effort to get business. This is not, I get a notary stamp, I take a training course, and then I make a gazillion dollars. Okay. You are building your business. So you have to put the effort in to build your business. So find the trainer and the training that works for you. I got nothing against Mark Wills. Like I said, I didn't take his training. I don't know nothing about it. I know my training. I know that I've been a successful signing agent for 15 years. I know what I know that got me here. So I'm going to always recommend my training. But again, find the trainer and the training that works best for you. And then realize that no matter what training you take, you are going to have to put in the time, the effort to build your business. All right, let's see. Another question. Do you have to be, I'm assuming you meant recertified. Do you have to be recertified every year as a signing agent? So I actually have a video about this where I talk about the NNA signing agent certification exam and background screening. So first of all, by law, no certification is required. Okay. However, the National Notary Association has positioned themselves with their signing agent certification to the point that a lot of companies want you to have that in order for them to send you business. It is not a legal requirement, but a lot of companies want you to have that. And the NNA signing agent certification is only good for 12 months. So are you required by any law to do that every year? No. But many of the companies will require that you have the NNA signing agent certification, and that certification is only good for 12 months. Let's see what we got here. Carolina likes the reverse umbrella. I'm telling you, I love that umbrella. And the steering wheel dashboard. That thing comes in handy. I'm telling you, absolutely. I love it. Pamela wants to know, do I recommend having a scanner in my car as well as one at home? So you really only need one. You just need a mobile. If you're going to do that, you really only need a mobile scanner. Guess what? It's mobile. You can bring your scanner in the house. So it's up to you, though, whether you want to invest in 2 separate scanners. Because yes, the thing about mobile scanners is they don't scan as many pages as quickly as a desktop scanner. They do move a little bit slower. You can only put about 10 pages in at a time, between 10 and 20 normally. So you're having to feed more pages in more often. I normally tell people to start off with a mobile scanner because, again, They can take the scanner with them. They can also use it at home. But if you've gotten to the point in your signing agent business where you want to have a mobile scanner and a desktop scanner at home, go for it. But if you can only afford one, get the mobile scanner, because then you can use it anywhere. Let's see, Jersey. I'm assuming you're talking about IDs. So an ID can be expired for up to 3 years in Jersey, she's saying, to be acceptable ID. That blows my mind. That's crazy. But again, this is one of those things, guys, where you have to know your state notary law in order to know what ID is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And then Shawana wants to know, where are the links? So I'm going to pull this back up. So the links are in the description box of this video. And if you are on a laptop computer or a desktop computer, if you look underneath the video, you're going to see the title to this video, and then you're going to see the words show more. Click on the words show more. If you are on a mobile device like a cell phone, you're going to see the title of the video, and then you're going to see a little down arrow. Click on that down arrow. And then when you do that, it's going to open up the description box. I got lots of stuff in the description box, so you may need to scroll down a little bit in the description box, but the links are there. So they are in the description box of this video. Great question. Let's see. Wanda says she was looking into an all-in-one scanner printer. Do I have experience with them? I do. I personally prefer a separate scanner and printer. So for a couple of reasons. One, I like a mobile scanner. Again, if you only have the choice of one or the other scanner, I prefer a mobile scanner because then I can take it with me. I can do scans while I'm out and about. I don't have to drive back home to do scans. If you've got an all-in-one printer with a scanner, then, and that's the only scanner you got, then you got to come back home to do your scans. The other thing I don't like about having an all-in-one with a scanner is when one part of it breaks, you now either have to buy a new printer and a new scanner, or you have this piece of equipment that all of it doesn't work and you got extra. So the Canon printer that I used to have that I told you guys about, it was an all-in-one. It was a scanner, printer, all that good stuff. And then I can't remember, one part of it broke. I think the printer part of it broke. And this was back when printers were huge, because I've been doing this a long time. But that was my scanner. And so I had this huge printer that I couldn't use to print because I needed it for the scanner. And then I had a whole separate printer. So I had these two big pieces of equipment on my desk, because I needed the scanner from the all-in-one. So again, if you can only, if an all-in-one is the only thing that fits in your budget, go for it. Get an all-in-one. It's better to have an all-in-one with a scanner, so that you have a scanner and a printer, than to only have a printer or only have a scanner. But in general, I don't like all-in-ones. But again, figure out what works for you. Let's see. Pass out cards. Keep a business card. You can't get business if you don't. People don't know you're in business. True. I'm not a fan of paper business cards, though. I prefer digital business cards. Statistics have shown that paper business cards get thrown away at a very, very high rate. So yes, keep business cards. Paper business cards are better than nothing. I prefer digital business cards. But yes, you definitely want to have something to be able to tell people who you are, and so that they can find you if they need business. Paper business cards, I will say though, are great for general notary work. That's a great marketing tool for general notary work. But again, guys, figure out what your goal is, figure out what works for you, and then do it. Because again, this is another one of the things that I love about being a signing agent. There is no one right way to do this. Each of us, basically as signing agents, have our own business, and we get to run our business in the way that works best for us. So there are things that I do in my business that works for me. You may want to do your business a little bit different. And guess what? That is perfectly fine. There is no right or wrong way per se to run your business. You get to run your business in the way that works best for you. All right, guys. Well, I don't see any other questions right now. If you got any other questions, put them in now. Put them in now so I can answer them. And again, guys, if you are watching this on the replay, go ahead, put your questions in as well. I always double check to see if there are questions later on, and I always do my best to answer all of those questions. All right. Is a plain stamper better than a stamper with a decorative border? Does the border on the stamp get in the way on some documents? And can you stamp sideways if not enough space is available? So, as far as your notary seal, the impression for your notary stamp, your state most likely has very specific requirements for how your notary stamp should look. This is part of the reason why I suggest that you always get your notary stamp from either the National Notary Association or the American Association of Notaries, because they know what the state requirements are. So for example, your stamp can only be so small. Your stamp can only be so big. Your stamp has to have certain elements in it. We don't get to make our stamp impression look however we want. Our state sets out how that impression needs to look. So make sure that you are getting your notary stamp from somewhere that is reputable, that is going to create your stamp in the way that is legal for your state. Does the border on the stamp get in the way on some documents? Yes, sometimes documents are drawn up in a way that they don't leave us enough space to put our notary seal. Again, you need to look at your state notary law to see how you need to handle that. In those instances, you may have to attach a loose certificate, fill that out, and stamp there. And can you stamp sideways if not enough space is available? Again, notary law. What does your state notary law say? In general, you should not stamp sideways. In general, it should be, the proper way for the stamp. But you will need to check your state notary law to see if there is a hard law against you doing so. Sometimes you do have to be a little creative. Your stamp may not be perfectly straight. You may have to do a little finagling to get it to fit. And again, if you happen to be using a stamp like this one where the impression is bigger, again, sometimes I have a hard time finding a place to stamp. But the biggest things out of this, follow your state notary law as to how your actual stamp impression looks and what to do if your stamp does not fit. Let's see. Stephanie wants to know if I do any apostille. I personally do not. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing apostille work. I'm a creature of habit kind of person. And I am also the kind of person, the way my mind works is I like to focus all of my energy on becoming very, very good at one thing. So I don't do a lot of general notary work. I don't do apostilles. I don't do field inspections. I personally put all of my energy in being the absolute best signing agent that I can be. And that has paid off. That has worked very well for me. But there's nothing wrong with doing apostille work. There's nothing wrong with doing field inspections. There's nothing wrong with doing general notary work. The thing, though, that I will caution everybody against is make sure that you're getting good at something before you try to add too many other things on there, because it doesn't do you any good to have multiple streams of income if you're not good at any of those streams, okay? And you know yourself better than anyone else knows yourself. Some of us know that we're good at multitasking. Others of us know that we are not good at multitasking. So know yourself. If you want to do apostille work and loan signing agent work, great. But make sure that you take the time to learn how to do each of those things well. Another question. As a new loan signing agent, how much E&O insurance should you have? So a couple of things about that. Errors and omissions insurance, that's what E&O stands for. We have to realize that E&O, errors and omissions insurance, protects us, okay? So how much you should have is going to depend on a couple of factors. One, how much do you want? How much protection do you want? So the example that I give on that is in, I think, pretty much every state, if your car is paid off, you do not have to have full coverage insurance. My car is paid off. And guess what? I still have full coverage insurance. Am I required to have full coverage insurance? No. But I want that coverage for my vehicle. So it's similar to errors and omissions insurance. How much coverage for errors and omissions do you want to have? Do you feel okay with only having $10,000? Do you feel okay with having $50,000, $100,000, a $500,000? This is the thing that you have kind of got to decide for yourself. The second part of that is there are some companies that will only work with you if you have a certain amount of errors and omissions insurance. So there are some companies that will only work with you, like if, for example, you have $100,000 of errors and omissions insurance. So here's the deal. You want to work with that company? You got to have $100,000 E&O. It's just that simple. So there is no hard line on how much you should have. It's going to be a balancing act of how much do you want? What kind of coverage do you want for yourself? Because this insurance protects you. And how much insurance do the companies that you want to work with, how much do they require that you have? And just because people always ask, I personally have $100,000 notary errors and omissions insurance. So for those who are like, well, Kendra, what do you got? That's what I got. All right. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Mobile printer scanners. Did you mount your mobile scanner in your car? So I am not a fan of mobile car setups. I will carry a mobile scanner with me just in its case, but I don't permanently affix anything in my personal vehicle. That's me. That's Kendra. You can, but I rather not. To me, it's no longer mobile if it's permanently affixed in my car. And most mobile scanners are really tiny. They fit in a little case, watch my scanner video because I'll show you the different scanners and actually the different cases that I recommend that you carry them in. So no, I personally did not mount my mobile scanner in my car. I like to actually have it mobile where I can pick it up and take it out where I need to go. All right, good question. Another question, do I have a separate business phone or do I have a separate business phone number attached to one cell phone? So I'm going to tell you what I have. And then, it's totally up to you what you decide to do. I personally only have one phone number. Now, again, that is because I've been a signing agent for 15 years. So when I first became a signing agent 15 years ago, back in the old days, it was not as convenient to get a second phone number. The apps that we have now to be able to get a second phone number that comes directly to your cell phone, they weren't that good or they were very costly. I didn't want to get two cell phones. And so I personally operate off of just one number. I have all my friends and my family saved in my contacts so I can see when friends and family call and I can answer the phone appropriately. Anybody that's not friends or family that's not saved in my contacts, I will answer the phone professionally. They'll get hit with the, this is Kendra, when I answer the phone. Now, is it a good idea to have a separate phone number that comes to your cell phone? Is it a good idea to have two cell phones, period, or however you want to do it? Again, this is the great thing about being a signing agent. You can do what works best for you. I know a lot of people do like to have a separate number, maybe a Google Voice number that rings on their cell phone that they use just for business. It is totally, totally up to you. But again, at the end of the day, either way is going to work. Which way do you want to do it? That's a great question as well. Let's see. We've got Terry's Notary and Apostille service. In California, only state authorized vendors can create notary stamps. Exactly, guys. So again, you can't just get your notary stamp from wherever. You absolutely want to get your stamp from somewhere that is going to do it properly for your state. What else do we have? I want to only be a signing agent. Also, how can I market just one thing? I see many notaries doing a lot of stuff. Again, everybody can do what they want to do with your business. If you just want to be a signing agent, I'm just a signing agent. You can absolutely do that. You are not required to do anything else. It is totally up to you what you want to do with your business. Is $500,000 of E&O coverage the max? I have no idea what the max is. That would be something that you would have to talk with an insurance agent with to see what the max is. I have no clue. That's a good question. I have absolutely no clue what the maximum amount of E&O insurance is. And how can I market myself only as a signing agent? So there's lots of different ways to market yourself as a signing agent. I have a whole module in my training program on direct marketing, marketing directly to title companies for their business. At the end of the day, it's all about relationship. You have to build relationships with the people that you want to work with. You can't just cold call, or I'm gonna say you can cold call, but the odds of somebody giving you business just because you call them up on the phone or knock on their door and say, hey, give me business, is very slim. Think about it. How often do you purchase something from a door-to-door salesman? How often do you purchase something from some random person that just calls you up on the phone? You don't do that very often. You work with people that you have a relationship with. So the most effective way to market yourself as a signing agent is to build relationships with the people that you want to work with. Now, how you do that is not something I can tell you in 1 or 2 sentences. I literally have hours of training in my Signing Agent Advanced training program to tell you how to build those relationships so that people will give you business. Because that's the thing I hear from a lot of people. They're like, well, I asked this title company to send me business and they told me no. They use their own notaries. They don't use these outside people. And it's like, okay, but they don't know you. Why should they use you? You are a random stranger off the street asking for business. They were going to give their business to someone that they have a relationship with. So again, the way to market yourself as a signing agent is to build a relationship with the people that you want to work with. And again, if you want more information about that, check out my Signing Agent Advanced training program. And then who should I direct market to? Do I have a video for this? Yes, I do, in my Signing Agent Advanced training program. But just kind of use your thinker. Where do we get business from? Title companies and attorneys are going to be the people who are mostly going to give us business. People who are related to that is going to be loan officers and real estate agents. And again, we need to build relationships with those people so that they will like us and trust us enough to want to give us their business. And that is something, again, that I go in depth about in my Signing Agent Advanced training program. I'm actually going to do a Q&A in just a little bit with my students. And I'm sure that direct marketing is going to be one of those things that we talk about again in that Q&A. Terry's Notary and Apostille Service say that they have a business phone number. That's awesome, guys. Like I said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And like I said, I tell people the main reason why I only have one phone number is because I've just done it that way for so long. And again, as a new signing agent, how much E&O should you have? We talked about that a little bit earlier. Again, it is going to be totally up to you. E&O insurance protects you. So how much protection do you want for yourself? That's number one. And then there are some companies that in order for them to send us business, they do require that we have a certain amount of errors and omissions insurance. So for example, if there's a company that requires you to have $100,000 E&O and you want to work with that company, guess you got to have $100,000 errors and omissions insurance. And again, guys, I do have an entire video here on YouTube about E&O. So definitely make sure that you check that out as well. All right, guys, I think I got all of the questions. Those were excellent questions, guys. Those are great questions. And I know that people watching this video in the future are going to appreciate those questions because those were all questions I'm sure that they have as well. And again, if you are watching this on the replay, or if you think about a question after this video is over, feel free to put it in the comments. I am going to be going back over these questions to make sure that I get them all answered. But guys, that's going to be it for the live for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me again. I want to wish each and every one of you a safe and happy holiday season. And I look forward to seeing you guys here on YouTube very soon in my next live. This is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics, hoping that you have a productive and profitable day. Bye, guys.